Tonight on Pledge Watch, we're all about the Third Way Alliance Secretary General. Just what has he done to maintain the party's sanity amid controversial scenarios over time? Will the Punguza Mizigo brainchild get a second chance on, and will it be the third way to endorse as a substitute to the likes of the BBI? Welcome on board. My name is Linda Lela. The guest of the day, as mentioned, is Frederick Okango, who's the Secretary General of Third Way Alliance. Interact with us. Hashtag Pledge Watch. Important that you ask those questions, and we'll have him to answer some of this. Amid all that, we also talk about the national politics as we ponder some more on the different events that have taken center stage and what his take on the same is. Welcome on board. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes, a controversial figure, so to speak. Allow me to call to say it that way, to paint it that way. And that's the reason why I started by saying, you know, there's been a lot of controversy within the Third Way Alliance. And it's not special because we've seen the same also on, you know, with different parties. And sometimes we just get to that point where we ask ourselves, just what is the role of the Secretary General within the party? Just what is the role of the party chair? Just what is the role of the leaders that hold the party together?
Thanks, Linda. First of all, it is important to understand that political parties are guided by three documents.
Yeah.
Number one is the Constitution of Kenya that establishes the formation of political parties.
Right.
Number two is the Political Parties Act 2011. And then number three is the rules and the constitution of the party.
Yeah.
Those three documents outline the structure of the political party, they outline the formation of the supreme organ that governs the party, they outline the requirements of members of any political party. And therefore, in any party, in their undertakings, they are guided by those three documents.
Right.
But just to go into what you are trying to ask on, what is the role of these members, especially in the leadership of a party?
Right.
Secretary General of a party is the spokesperson of the party. But Secretary General also speaks in consultation with the National Executive Committee that guides the undertakings of the party, that make decisions on the party, that actually supervises the happenings of the party. And therefore, when the Secretary General speaks, the party speaks.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say in our party was formed on the basis of promoting, protecting the Constitution and the rule of law. And therefore, we believe that as a party, that is what we stand for.
Is it too much to ask who's the chair of the party?
The chair of the party is Miruru Waweru.
Okay.
Miruru Waweru, CPA Miruru Waweru is the national chairman of the party.
And you've been within the party right from the time of inception?
From formation.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, this, I don't know whether it's hand or what. First of all, somewhere in March there, we're talking about you being ousted.
Yes.
And then boom, I don't know what really happened. I don't know what magic you played, and you were saved from the scenario. And today we're talking about the oustering of the party leader. That is, or the former party leader, you know, Honorable Ekuru Aukot. I mean, was it a witch hunt between the two of you? What exactly culminated?
Linda, because this is an issue that is before
court.
It's an active issue that is before court.
Yeah.
I don't want to go against the sub judice rule, but there are certain facts around it that I would want to communicate in this show. The facts around it is that the issue we have at the party is an issue of leadership.
Yeah.
And when the party is not having a proper leadership, then there are problems that are likely to happen. They are not even problems, they're challenges. Today, as we speak, the supreme organ of the party made a decision. The decision was to ensure that we take back the party to the people. That's what we have done.
Yeah.
And therefore, any decision that we made is for the interest of the majority of the party members and for the interest of the public.
Yeah.
So, initially, when there were issues about constitutional amendment, which route, and I was clear and I said, the best thing that happened to this country is Punguza Mizigo. I still maintain Punguza Mizigo.
Yeah.
However, as a party, we don't work in isolation. We can seek
Incorporate
the advice, the opinion of the public, because the party is about the public, and that's what we are doing. Today, the issues on the table are not about constitutional amendment. They're about impropriety, they're about disobeying the court orders, they're about, you know, so many issues of that are bringing ridicule to the party, issues to do with the conduct of individuals, and therefore they are canvassed separately from what happened previously. And we believe that in due time, these matters will be sorted.
This is very common, not just in your party, like I started by
Yes.
saying, in different other parties. And then, leaves the people asking or putting a question mark on the leadership of different parties, so to speak.
Yes.
When we're talking about impropriety or, finances, when we're talking about lack of transparency, with a certain individual within the party, then you ask yourself, amid the boards, amid the meetings, the net meetings and all that, just what happens within, so that there's one individual that can go against the rules and takes it to a different level, to a higher notch, without the knowledge of the other party leaders within.
Yes. Linda, the problem we have as a country and as a democracy is the problem of allowing individuals to own the party. Political parties, the moment they're registered by the register of political parties, they become public entities. And that's why a requirement in one of the registration is that it shall reflect the regional diversity of the people of Kenya. Its governing council shall also have representation, the minority, the women, the youth, so that it becomes an institution.
Right.
It should not be an individual. Political parties are not people's bedrooms. Political parties are not people's basket. They're not people's purses where you put your hand, remove 100 bob, and then decide to return it or to give it to the other person. No. Political parties, Linda, are public entities that are governed by the three documents that I mentioned earlier. The Constitution of Kenya, Political Parties Act, and rules and regulations or the constitution of the party. And therefore, the challenge that we have been seeing all along in the political field is a situation where political parties are owned by individuals.
Right.
When you see a political party, you see an individual. That is a cult. Third Way Alliance Kenya is not a cult. Third Way Alliance Kenya is a political party that believes in the rule of law, that believes that to progress as a country, to lower the burden that is borne by the many taxpayers in this country, then we must take that party and give it to the people who are part and parcel of it. That is
By
what
the
we have
virtue of being the flag bearer of Third Way Alliance, we could see Third Way Alliance, or we could see Ekuru Aukot, and we see Third Way Alliance today. After that declaration, we see you and we see Third Way Alliance. So how then do we get that notion, and how do we root out that notion and ensure that it's going to be a party of the people or for the people?
Linda, as I said before, political parties must allow people to participate.
Right.
It should not be about Okango. It should not be about Miruru Waweru. It should not be about any other person only. It should be about the people. But as I said, we have people who believe that if it is not them, then there's nothing.
Right.
We are saying our party is a party for all, by all, and made for everyone. That's why we are pushing an agenda that will incorporate everyone, not individual, not the select few. Because we have seen instances where political parties are saying, this is a party for this region, this is a party for this so-and-so, this is a party for selected few. No, 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 no. Political parties must be for the people.
All right. Well, aside from the Punguza Mizigo, which seems to have resonated so well with the people, what more has, Third Way Alliance done towards ensuring that, this party is felt with the people, this party resonates with the people sort of feel like they can identify with this party?
Let me tell you, Linda.
Yeah.
When we went into an election in 2017, people did not believe that it is Third Way Alliance Kenya that will save the day. We went as underdogs, but we knew that we needed to give people an alternative. We gave the people an alternative. After the election, when people said that this election has been contested and therefore the Supreme Court said it is null and void ab initio, it must be repeated afresh, we participated again. But more importantly, after that, we did say that now that the elections are behind us, we have a problem. The problem is a constitution that should be amended to ensure that everyone is included. We are the first party. In fact, we are the first people that started the word inclusion.
Right.
We went ahead and said, how do we ensure inclusion? Let's amend the constitution so that we lower the burden first. Inclusion is when everyone has access to food, water, electricity, and jobs. That is inclusion.
Right.
So we started by promoting the Punguza Mizigo. That is a flagship project for the third way.
Right.
But before that also, remember during the finance bill, this enactment of finance laws, we did give out our proposal to the parliament,
right.
Senate finance bill. We took it and presented it before the Senate. We gave our proposal on what the president should do and what the parliament should do to ensure that they cushion Kenyans on those injurious tax regimes. You know, we have done so much. As a small party that do not have representation, we have made progress. Today, the reason why people are speaking to us, the reason why even most likely I'm on this platform speaking to Kenyans is because of Punguza Mizigo, which is our flagship project. Look at where we have come from. There are so many big parties in this country that have not managed to get to where we are. We are here. And I want to say today that we are determined as a party, we are determined as a people, with the support of the public, we shall ensure that even this problem that we're talking about of two-gender rule is is enhanced, or is the solution is found through an amendment by the people. That is what we are talking about. And therefore, I would want to tell you, Linda, that we believe that parties must play a critical role in ensuring that democracy is preserved, in ensuring that a constitution is implemented, in ensuring that representation is to the level that Kenyans want. Because that is not what is there today. The big parties have taken an opportunity to create a wave that people fall for and then they are trapped. We must now give opportunity to every party to project themselves in a manner that they will ensure that they save this country from corruption, from bad leadership, from theft of public money, from underemployment, from joblessness, and from socio-economic injustice that we have seen since independence.
Before we delve deep into the to their Punguza Mizigo, and there, I mean, sometimes you hear some of these conversations out here, and the conversation has been that in a way there's been some level of infiltration or by external forces within the party or coming into the party to distract the activities of the party, or to guide the agenda of the party, or to shape the direction that the party will take. It is now your chance to say whether it is true or not. And I mean, some of these forces that we're talking about are the other parties that you're actually talking about, or leaders from the other parties.
Linda, you know, in this country, if today Okango gets out of here without a jacket, they'll say Okango don't have a jacket. Well, Okango has so many jackets. If tomorrow Okango wears a jacket, say no, Okango is putting so many jackets, they should now tone down on the jacket. People will always speak, and they'll speak from their convenience. They don't speak from the point of knowledge. They speak from the point of propaganda. Third Way Alliance Party, or Third Way Alliance Kenya, as it is known, TEC, is an independent party. Thinks differently, is not under control of everyone or anyone. It's a party that has got programs, and programs that are for the people of Kenya. And therefore, I have not seen, neither have I heard, anyone trying to infiltrate, to control, to influence. Not at all. It shall never happen. It will never happen. It has never happened. We are a party that believes that our ideas that are generated also from the people are ideas that can be subjected to criticism, but also can help progress this country to where we want it. One of them I've just given you. Today, Linda, we are talking about a constitutional requirement. We are talking about a Bill of Rights of 2/3 gender. But look, most of the people that have been talking about it, they have not offered any solution. Third Way Alliance Kenya has offered a solution. So how do you say that there's a party that is being infiltrated or being controlled? That is cheap talk and it's propaganda.
All right, I'll ask that question again. There's not a single day that the DP has been involved with. I mean, I'll ask it straight.
I have never seen, I have never even met DP.
Oh, yeah?
I just see him on TV. For me, as a secretary general of a party, if that infiltration is there, then I should be meeting him every day. I've never met him. I just see him on TV. I've never even shook his hands. But I know that for a fact, our party has offered so many solutions to this country. In fact, we started by what is called the national conversation, where the people started it. And look at where it has come to. It has come to now a process that people now must sit down and talk. It is our brain check.
Yeah.
And we're not saying we are a monopoly of ideas. Maybe there are other people who thought about it, but we projected it. Linda, I can dare say in this show, Third Way Alliance Kenya is a party that believes in programs and ideas that mean well for the majority, not tiny minority.
Ekuru Court has been part and parcel of this conversation of the Punguza Mizigo, talk of a bill or change of the constitution. One, that is a polite way or an outright way of saying that yes, Third Way Alliance is for change of the constitution, amendment of the constitution. Well, he sat within the very same team that also crafted the 2010 constitution, and we all acknowledge the fact that our constitution is dynamic in nature, so that's okay. We cannot hold him on the wall for the same. But then the question is today, we have all seen what fate the Punguza Mizigo, talk faced. What are the likelihoods of it getting another lifeline?
Linda, when we started Punguza Mizigo, when we launched it on 7th April 2018, and went with it all the way, achieved the requisite signatures required in the Constitution under Article 257, went all the way to county assemblies.
Performed so well, surprised many.
In fact, if today, ask any kid, 2 years, 3 years, they say Punguza Mizigo, they know what it is.
Right.
The government knows what it is. The members of public want it, I'm sure the President Uhuru Kenyatta wants Punguza Mizigo. Raila Odinga wants Punguza Mizigo because they know the benefit. They do know. Now, when Punguza Mizigo collapsed in November 2018 at the county assemblies, Punguza Mizigo did not collapse because people didn't want it. Punguza Mizigo collapsed because of the politics of the day. And the politics is very dynamic. A day in politics is a very long time. Things change. We went back to the table and relooked at the issues that the MCAs raised, that the public raised. One of the issues was the equality of the vote. Because we were saying, reduce the number of constituencies, adopt the counties as single constituencies for the purpose of election in the National Assembly, and then have one man, one woman. People were not very happy with that. A section of the politicians, because they thought they have the numbers, and now they'll be voted out. Now, we went back, retracted, and reconvened and programmed Punguza Mizigo in a manner that we are not going to lose much. We have capped the spending, the parliament expenditure, from the annual 36 billion to 5 billion. At the same time, we have ensured that we have a formula that will ensure the achievement of the 2/3 gender principle. In both accounts.
Let's not even go to the 2/3 first. Let's talk about these monies that we're talking about. From 36 to
5 billion.
How realistic is that?
It's realistic. Leadership is not an employment. Leadership is a call to serve. And therefore, we are saying, if we are going to have parliament that is bloated for the purposes of achieving what the Constitution requires, or parliament that is slightly above the 400, then we must lower the expenditure. And even if we are not increasing it, it must be lowered anyway, because the source of bloated government is also contributed from parliament. It is, the expenditure is so much. Look at the allowances. Look at their salary. It is too much. Kenya is one of the countries that is paying their parliamentarians a lot of money. It must go down. If you are a member of parliament and you don't want that, go home. Number two, we have said to strengthen devolution. And that's why I say President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga believes in Punguza Mizigo. We have said to strengthen devolution, we must increase the county allocation from 15% currently in 203, Article 203, to at least 50%. Look at their documents. They have said the same thing. We have said the issue in this country, Linda, is theft of public money. What the media and other people call corruption. There's nothing like corruption. It is theft. How do we ensure that we protect that? We must be methodical. So I'm just telling you some of the improvements that have come with Punguza Mizigo 2, that today, as we speak, Linda, has garnered the endorsement of 770,000 signatures. We are just we are headed there. And I can assure you, Punguza Mizigo is going to the referendum. Mark my words. Punguza Mizigo is going to the referendum. That is it.
All right. Well, you said that. I remember the time I was hosting you, and you said that you're going to gather the 1 million, and you thought it was a joke, and you had to. So
I'm repeating here today. If we are going to have a constitutional amendment, then Punguza Mizigo will be the constitutional amendment because it has taken care of the needs of the majority of people of Kenya.
If you say that it matches the BBI in a way, then why not the BBI and Punguza Mizigo?
Well,
at least we do not have the final document of the BBI as of now. But we have ideas of what...
I don't have an idea of what BBI is proposing, but I know the constitutional amendment is amendment for the people.
Yeah.
We are not amending this constitution for Kang or for Linda or for Raila or for Uhuru. No, we are amending for the benefit of the people. When the report is out, we shall talk about it.
Yeah.
For now, we cannot talk about it. I've seen people talking about it and they have not seen it. I say, what is on the table today, that people know, Punguza Mizigo, it is very clear. Our bill is almost ready. And I'm telling you, Linda, the moment we achieve the 1 million signature, we shall proceed and take this signature for verification to IBC. Then IBC shall proceed to Parliament. I know we'll talk about Parliament in due course, but I know the process is right there. We are working towards it, and we shall get there.
Well, I mean, do we have timelines to this? Because, well, the likes of Baba say that, with BBI, they wanted it in July, before we know it and all that. I mean, do we have timelines to the Punguza Mizigo after all the processes?
We have timelines for any constitutional amendment.
Yes.
Not only BBI.
So what are you looking at?
Not only
before
BBI,
2022?
Not only Punguza Mizigo.
Yes.
We have timelines. If Kenyans want to solve their problems once and for all, Linda, if Kenyans want to tame tribalism, they want to end corruption, they want to end negative ethnicity, then they must amend their constitution for the benefit of themselves. And the timelines are there. If we are going to go through popular initiative, that requires that you must achieve the threshold of 1 million signatures endorsement from the public, registered voters, then IBC has got 90 days, within 90 days, to take that to the county assemblies. Then county assembly must bring it back with a certificate of approval, at least 24 counties, and then national parliament and the Senate to approve, and then we go to the referendum. I'm talking about 90 plus another 30. So those are 90 days plus 30, 120 days. The year is not yet ended. We are able to do referendum latest by, February, March.
All right, that's an interesting one right there. Just looking at the proposals that you've given, proposals that are likely to resonate well with the people, but also they resonate well with the people. But like you rightfully put it, the politicians would not smile at this. And in numerous occasions, we've seen politicians coming up with laws that have ended up being their own poison. And then again, at that particular time, they want to have a different conversation. I mean, our neighbors Uganda at some point in time bringing on board, the age limits and all this talk about, the limits in terms of who should vie or who should not vie for an elective position. So in such a scenario, don't you suppose then that you're just concocting or you're just coming up with a concoction that is going to end up being your own poison, knowing very well that you have, interest on matters politics?
Linda, constitutional amendments are negotiated processes. We cannot say that it's Stadio Alliance only who is going to ensure that there's a constitutional amendment. And that's why...
But if it sails through?
Our endorsement has been done by Kenyans, not us. Otherwise, we would endorse it 4, 5, 6 people and then take it. But look, the endorsement is by Kenyans. And therefore, in any negotiation, you must bring something to the table. What Punguza Mizigo is bringing, they are bringing to the table the solutions to the burden that are borne by the taxpayers in Kenya. That is the solution. I don't see anyone in this country, and I've never heard anyone from DP Ruto, Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, the parliamentarians, senators and the National Assembly members saying that it is not time to lower the burden. Everyone agrees. So how you lower the burden is the problem. So we have taken a route of Punguza Mizigo. Somebody will take another route. When we agree as a Kenyans that, well, we have to lower the burden because the burden of gender inequality, the burden of corruption, we all feel it. A member of parliament feels it, Okango feels it, Linda feels it, the media feels it. We must now come to the table and say, wait a minute. We all agree that this is a problem. Then why don't we sort it? That time is coming. And Linda, it is coming faster than people thought. It is here. So I see a situation in this country where Kenyans will have to stop political campaigns for 2022 and sit on the table and solve an urgent problem of ensuring that we have a solution
Yeah.
that will ensure that even as we prepare for election 2022, we don't fight,
Okay.
we don't malign others, we don't evict others, we don't feel like people are not included.
Right.
The inclusion that we want as a party is the inclusion of socio-economic inclusion,
Okay.
where a child in Turkana can enjoy the same educational facilities like a child in Nairobi Primary.
Right.
You get my point?
Yeah.
That is what we are looking at, because the Constitution gives that right of equality. It is there. So why would we say that because Turkana or Homa Bay County, Kakelo, Kabondo Kasipul, where I come from, Kakelo Kokwanyo Ward, where infrastructures are still not to the par,
yeah.
then they are looked upon like, they're in the village and in Nairobi. I mean, we must bring all these people to a level where there's equity.
Did the Senate solution try to achieve that, or at least achieve that?
They tried to achieve it, but you see, it is a continuous process.
Yeah.
Achieving it through county allocation is one. Then achieving it through development is another. Then achieving it through political representation is another. And therefore, for us, we are bringing an wholesome solution through a constitutional amendment that is for the people.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And let's come to the advisory by the CJ.
Yes,
While
yes.
the Constitution declares that, yes, upon that advisory, the President shall proceed to dissolve Parliament. You are of the idea, and I'm saying this, and I quote with confidence because I have been looking around, I've been watching you, and you take on the same. You say that, the President should not and cannot
And shall not.
and shall not. Why do you say so?
Linda, I stand by my statements, and this is why I'm saying so. The issue that is under contention is the 2/3 gender principle,
Yep.
which is anchored in the Constitution through 3 constitutional articles. Number one, Article 100, that says Parliament shall enact law to promote the interest of the marginalized,
Okay.
the youth, women, people with disability, and ethnic minority. Then Article 27 that says it's a Bill of Rights.
Right.
It says not more than 2/3 of the same gender shall occupy both elective and appointive. Then it goes to Article 81 B under general principle of electoral practices that says not more than 2/3 of the same gender shall occupy elective positions. Now, it takes me back to what we call the 5th schedule that gives specific legislations that must be enacted by Parliament within a specific period of time. If you look at 5th schedule, Article 100 should have been enacted within 5 years. But Article 100 does not say 2/3 gender.
Okay.
If you look at Article 81B, it is within Chapter 7, representation of the people. That's okay, 5 years. If you look at the Bill of Rights, Linda, the Bill of Rights, Article 27, it is nowhere in the specific legislation. However, in 5th schedule, there's what we call general specification, any other law. So the reason why we are doing that, and that's why today we went to High Court to seek interpretation. We have sought interpretation of, we are not challenging Maraga's advisory because Maraga's advisory is constitutional. But we are saying these issues, even if today, assuming Parliament enacts that law, the Constitution gives a cap in Article 97 that the maximum number of members of Parliament in National Assembly shall be 290 elected from single constituency, 47 women reps, plus 12 nominations. If you go to Senate Article 98, it gives a cap of 47 elected, plus 12 nominated women, plus another 2 workers, another 2. So there's a cap. So for them to enact that law, they need over 100. Where are they going to fit? So our interpretation, or rather what we are seeking, is an interpretation. And again, the reason I say the President should not dissolve Parliament is because we are coming from the negative effects of COVID-19, we expect that Parliament must now put legislation in place to ensure that they put legislation that cushion Kenyans from these negative effects.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. And I'm coming back with the same. And whether we should go for a referendum at this time that we're coming from COVID-19 after this break, where we take a look at what you expect at the top of the hour. And welcome back to Pledge Watch. Welcome back to Pledge Watch. Yes, the conversation is all about the politics of the day, and the Secretary General for Third Way Alliance, Fred Okango, is the one we have this evening as we ponder some more on the events of politics of the nation, and importantly, the politics within his very own party. Before we went for a short break, and of course we were discussing on, or we were pondering some more on the advisory given by CJ Maraga in regards to whether indeed the president should proceed and dissolve a parliament or not after failing to implement the two-thirds gender rule. So the question of the day then would be, if if Third Way Alliance has proceeded to present or to argue this in court, seeking an advisory or interpretation of the same based on the loopholes that we witness within the Constitution. Not to direct what it is that the courts will declare, but again, based on the past experiences, we've seen in most cases the courts being compelled to give an advisory or to even rule in the interest of the public. And in this case, then there are likelihoods that it would rule in the interest of the public. But I mean, if we're talking about the interest of the public from where you had left it, reality is that even if we're talking about a referendum today, it is not in the interest of the public to hold a referendum today, as many would have argued, because they feel like, you know what, we're coming from tough times after COVID-19. Do not treat us to a referendum. Do not treat us to a referendum after we went through 2 elections. Do not treat us to a referendum when we're talking about an election coming in a year or 2 time.
Linda, referendum is not static. Referendum is not a one-day event.
Yeah.
The people of Kenya have had this constitution from 2010. It has been a very progressive constitution, to say.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the challenges that we are experiencing today as a country, there are challenges that cannot be sorted through just legislation alone.
Okay.
We must relook at the constitutional provisions and then amend as per what is required. And therefore, anyone who argues that it's not time for referendum can the same the same person can argue that let's just sit and see theft going on.
Yeah.
Let's just sit and see women being relegated to a lower cadre of representatives. Let's just sit and see men and women and youth not having jobs. Let's just sit and see education becoming expensive every day. Let's just sit and see nothing happening. I don't think that's what Kenyans want. Kenyans must understand that for them to get what they want that is for their benefit, then they must also look at a legal and proper and political way of solving it. The only process that brings the two processes, a legal process and political process together without much contestation is constitutional amendment. And therefore I would say, in this time and age, Kenya has been seeing a lot of fights after every election, where politicians come up and say, it is not going to happen because you must do this, or this institution must go because we have lost or we have won. All those things. We want a situation where after every election, we don't fight and we look at ourselves as winners, all of us, not losers, all of us, or not winner and a loser. We want a situation where we can confidently walk in any part of this country without being labeled so-and-so supporter or so-and-so critic. And in that case, we must have an economic and political inclusion through an amendment. That is what we are saying. And we are saying for us, the economic inclusion is more important to the people of Kenya because it provides jobs, it creates employment, and it allows the people, through our proposal, to have a bottoms-up approach in development where the ward shall be used as a primary unit of accelerated development through increased allocation to the counties. You can take your kids to the nearby ward, dispensary, school, there's water, there's tarmac road, there's a market, everything. Who doesn't want that? Now, Linda, look at it this way. The main issue today that we're talking about is an issue where a certain gender or one of the gender believes that it is their right to be represented or their representation to be promoted by parliament. It has not happened. The Constitution of Kenya gives that as a Bill of Rights in the general principle of electoral system and also in representation. However, parliament has failed to do that. And if parliament was to do that, they can't do it alone because people are also blaming parliament. But the Constitution says that the state shall take legislative action and other measures, including affirmative action. So it's not state alone. It is the state, the judiciary, the executive. I mean, it's everyone. And even us, the people. Now, if today, and I keep asking this question, that was to happen, then don't we think that parliament shall be amending the constitution through backdoor? Because for you to deal with issue of Bill of Rights, it must be canvassed through a constitutional amendment in Article 256 or 257. If Parliament enact that law today, they shall have amended the constitution through backdoor.
All right. Speaking of which then, people argue, or as there are few who've argued, that maybe we should do away with this conversation of two-third gender rule because it is almost unattainable. I do not know what is incorporated in Punguza Mizigo to address the same, and I don't know what your take is on the same in this time and age when we're trying so hard to empower the women out there, to let them come on board and take the leadership positions, take them elective leadership positions for that matter.
Linda, I'll tell you, the women of Kenya today are suitable, competent, and capable. In fact, there are so many women who are suitable to hold public positions, many of them, and who can do a better job. I guarantee you that. But the issue of gender, again, is not a Kenyan issue only. It is one of the sustainable development goals. It's a UN goal, but we have to achieve it. So by saying we do away with it, are we saying to say that we do away with a sustainable development goal by the United Nations, of which we are party to? I mean, we must be serious people. No, we must find a solution to achieving it. Punguza Mizigo and Third Way Alliance have come up with a solution. And I want to ask Kenyans, give us a chance and you see the formula that we are going to bring in. The formula that will not only ensure achievement of the two-thirds gender, but also ensures achievement of lowering the burden, the wage bill in parliament because it's too much. 36 billion going to a tiny minority of 414 people.
Yeah.
Well, we need water, we need electricity, we need jobs, we need schools. No, no, no. We are saying opportunity has come to relook at parliament. Opportunity has come to relook at our constitution. This is the opportunity that we're waiting for. President Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, William Ruto, and all the leaders out there. This is the opportunity that we're waiting for. It's not an issue of dissolve or not dissolve, but I know resolve, we must resolve it.
Okay. All right, so, well, that's an amazing way to approach it as we wait to see what it is. The course will give us an interpretation of what has been presented by Third Way Alliance. And back to the Third Way Alliance politics and what has been happening within the political scenarios and the political parties in the country. At least we have seen some progress in terms of, getting another registrar of political parties on board, and we hope that she does a good job moving on. So what is the parties? Came multipartism. We all celebrated multipartism. We looked at it as a way that, would bring liberation to the people of Kenya, and, that freedom for every other person to walk in and, just have that democratic right to proceed and, change the nation. But reality is that what we see in our own political parties today is contrary to what we all expected. It's a lot of confusion within the parties that gets or culminates to the common mwananchi who is supposed to be the supporter of these respective parties. What else the parties, honestly?
What else the parties is cult, number one, where people believe that direction must only come from a certain one individual. What else the party is lack of funding. Most of the parties that bring good ideas like small parties, they don't benefit from the political parties' funds. And therefore it is difficult for them to sustain their political projects. It is difficult for them to comply by the requirements of the office of the register of political party that we just mentioned, having offices in the counties, having head office, having structures that work. That is a challenge. And what else the parties is, the other one is lack of grassroots support, where people are conditioned to believe that this area is only for a certain party and you cannot have any other party to be represented here. I mean, if we fix those issues, and you will realize today, when you look at how political parties operate today, you will see there's this habit of coalitions. The reason why people are now going into coalitions is because the main aim of political parties is to attain power. So they've realized that there are numbers in masses. So let's get together, go and attain power. But after attaining power, what next? People go their separate ways. And then Wanjiku remains there waiting. But I thought we dissolve all our political parties to have this power for our benefit. What happened? Look at what is happening in Jubilee today. We have seen that. So for me, what I'm saying is political parties must be given an opportunity to have their programs, and all political parties should get at least percentage. And that's why some of us have been proposing for the amendment of the Political Funds Act, so that we ensure that even these other small parties that have got programs like now Punguza Mzigo, they can be funded to make these things a reality. We have been pushing for that. We hope very soon this will come to a reality, because there are so many parties out here that don't have representation because they are small parties and they were formed the other day, but they have come up with very good programs that will offer solution to the people of Kenya. But look, they don't get the funding. So they struggle a lot of time, and most of them, you just hear them a few years to election. Thank God for Punguza Mzigo and Third Way. We have been consistent right from 2016 all the way to now. So for me, I believe that we have a solution. The solution is when we have a democratic space, the democracy, the multi-party democracy that allows for multipartism, then give those political parties a chance also to present their ideas. If anything, the constitution requires that there shall be public participation. So the participation in this field is that all political parties must be allowed to participate, give their voice and opinion in whatever national agenda that is happening. Today we are talking about the Maraga advisory, we're talking about revenue allocation bill, we're talking about COVID-19, we're talking about representation. What is the performance? The other day I saw Infotech gave a report of the performance
of the members
of parliament. If you look at that report and you analyze keenly, you'll realize that majority of the members that performed so well, they're not from big parties.
Yeah.
Some of them are from small parties. So that tells you the organization that is in these small parties. That tells you what happens in these small parties. So we must now try and give them a chance and ensure that they reap more into their parties so that that organization can be reflected at the county level and at the national government level.
With what caveats or without, ways of ensuring that this is balanced? Because again, when you open it and you let it open, parties will be registering left, right, and center.
The Political Parties Act gives a criteria and the guidelines of how a party must be registered. That one is taken care of.
And it's good enough?
It is good enough. It controls. Today, for example, you cannot wake up and say, I want to register a party called Tangatanga. I don't want to register a party called Jubilee Asili. It's not possible. That requirement is in Section 8. All 8, 12, 11 of the Political Parties Act. So it is controlled. But I'm saying, even in registration of these parties, I've seen other regions saying, we want to register a party for our region. It is against the provisions. So a party must be national. And those are the controls that the Registrar of Political Parties and the Political Parties Act, and a law that is enacted in Parliament, not even by the Registrar, has been put in place to ensure that these are taken care of. So I believe that that control is there. But what is the issue? The issue, as I've said, Kenyans must understand that they are in a multi-party democracy. And they must understand that in multi-party democracy, there is divergent opinion. But how they converge with their opinions for the benefit of Wanjiku is what has been a challenge. President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga have tried it. Today we are talking about a national conversation. But look, there's a divergent voice again. No, we don't want this. So, assuming even the three, Ruto, Raila, and Uhuru were together today, there will be a divergent one saying, no. You see, so it's democracy. So give it to them. Let everyone bring the idea and let the people decide. If the people of Kenya have decided that they want a constitutional amendment, give it to them. If the people of Kenya decide they don't want it, give it to them. The only time that we'll know whether they have decided they want or they don't want is by presenting it through a popular vote called the referendum. Don't listen to people saying we want it. Don't listen to people saying we don't want it. Listen to the voice of the people when finally it is subjected to them through a referendum. That is the time that a decision will be made. Just like in an election, you cannot say I've won, I've lost. No. Let the outcome be tabled so that we see, did you win, did you lose? That is democracy. So for us, the democratic principle is that subject to the people, let the people decide.
All right, so that's an amazing way to probably try and end up this session, but not before we get to hear what way forward for Third Way Alliance. I would want to believe it's just not about the Punguza Mizigo. There's more than that. There's more than at some point in time, there was that feel that, you were the opposition of the day.
We are still. We have never changed.
So what way forward?
Linda, we have embarked on a grassroots recruitment process. We are recruiting in readiness for 2022. We shall be also communicating in the coming days what we are going to do to ensure that we get elective seats. And we gave a communication. We are going to participate in the forthcoming by-elections for December 2015. We have received 4 candidates.
Different regions.
Msambweni, Msambweni, and the other Kahawa, and the other ones. We have received at least 4. We have a candidate from Msambweni. We shall be unveiling that candidate at the right time. We have a candidate for other wards that fell vacant. And that's progress. Number 2, we are also in the process of ensuring that our party has got majority in terms of membership, and we are doing that through our online platform. If you log into our online platform, thirdwayalliance.com, you'll get to our projects. Punguza Mizigo is there, being a member is there, how to register, how to reach us, everything is there. We are indeed one of the most digital parties today. You can become a member by a click of a button, and therefore we know for a fact that as a party, we must progress, and our progression is ongoing. We believe even in this conversation that people are talking about, we shall offer solution. And I can also repeat that in the coming, if we are going to have a referendum, Linda, I say here,
it will be about
Punguza Mizigo will be there.
All right, so I'll give you that benefit of doubt as we await to see what will happen. In the event that Ekuru Aukot is reinstated, Or there's no way this is happening?
You know, Linda, those are issues that are in court.
Yeah.
We are not punishing anyone.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to punish anyone. We want many people to the party.
Yeah.
So we leave it to the court to decide. But for now, the party will not stop doing its activity. We believe that solution will be found.
Frederick Okango, Secretary General, Third Way Alliance, thank you so much for the great insights. We've also known so much that we probably would have wanted to know. And on that very note, the conversation I know continues, of course, on our social media platforms. And importantly, we'll be having him some more to expound on some more. We get to see what it is that the courts will interpret in the same that they have sicked. And of course, we'll ponder on the same at that particular time when, again, we'll have him back on the platform. It was great having you this evening, and we look forward to have you some other time. And equally, you back at home, thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. Your conversations is on. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to go through some of the comments, but all the same, we say thank you so much. That's where we get to wind up Pledge Watch this evening. My name is Linda Alela. See you again next week.
If you have any comments or complaints about our news or any of our programming content, please get in touch with us on telephone number 0740